I hate the streets, I'm happy just to be alive. Survived 2 decades, had to fight just to survive. No family left out here, I walk this road alone. Can't deal with things like I did with the Stones. Prison days are over, now it's time for a new start. The streets are different, gotta learn this from the heart. I'm sober now, gotta keep my focus straight. All legit, no slip-ups, I can't tell fate. A survivor's anthem, I sing it out loud. I'm all I got, now gotta make me proud. Life on the outside, no longer locked away. I'm walking this path, learning day by day.
And I apologize. I just been life, holidays, family. You know what I'm saying? You know, life is good. For all that know, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm living my best life. So I've had a lot going on during the holidays, and I'm thankful and I'm blessed. This is, you know what I'm saying, you know, another year, you know what I'm saying, you know, of blessings. I'm grateful and thankful. Today I wanted to talk about something different, you know, because a lot of times I talk about the past and, you know what I'm saying, my present time. Because when I tell a story, I did a YouTube video called Loyalty. It's on here, you can go check it out. No one watched it. It was like 100 and something views. It's like, really? You know? But when you put something out there like White Crip versus Blood, then, you know what I'm saying, you know, I get thousands of views. So it's a catch. I'm not here, you know what I'm saying, on clickbait. I'm you know what I'm saying, you know, part of doing this YouTube channel is it's a hustle for me. It's a legit hustle, and you know what I'm saying, you know, it's a way for me to release and let go of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of stuff, because I'm, you know what I'm saying, you know, I bottle it in and hold it, you know what I mean, you know, you gotta let it go. You gotta let go and move on. That's the only way you can move on. These are things I'm learning, you know, like I said, your boy's been growing, your boy's been learning, and you know what I'm saying, you know, I'm here to share whatever, you know what I'm saying, I learned with my family. I appreciate everybody that taps in, that hits the like and hits the subscribe and leaves a comment, you know, and especially the ones that share it to me. It doesn't even matter. Share it to me. Share it to yourself. It doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? That shows the algorithm and everything, you know what I'm saying? You know, that somebody's paying attention. And like I said, I appreciate it. Because like I said, this is a hustle. This is a stream of income for me. It's not much. You know, your boy a small time hustler. Like I say, the most you know what I mean, I'm keeping it real, you know what I'm saying? The most I'd have made in 1 month was $60. You know what I mean? You know, it's not, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm not tripping. I'm not, no complaints. I'm not turning down nothing but my collar. But like I say, I'm a small time hustler, and I'm, you know what I'm saying, you know, I'm on some all legit. People that know my past know that that's not the way, you know, I came, that's not the way I came about doing things, you know. I was, you know what I'm saying, by hook or by crook, I'm coming to get it, you know, and that's the way it was. And people that was, you know, back in that time, in that era, and know what was going on, you know, they understand, because, you know what I'm saying, you know, they was probably doing the same thing I was doing, you know, trying to get it, you know. I ain't never been rich. You know what I'm saying, you know, I sold drugs and you know what I'm saying, you know, I've done a lot of, you know what I'm saying, illegal business. And the most money I ever had was like $42,000. And that's, you know what I mean, you know, and that's, you know what I'm saying, you know, that's not much. And this was like 1990, you know. At that time, I was running wild. I was kicking in doors and taking your sack. You know, I'm trying to find a dope man and follow him home and go up in there and take the little nest egg that he's been saving. But, you know, that was, you know what I'm saying, that was the old me. And, you know what I'm saying, you know, I'm not that guy no more. I'm not, you know, and I kind of realized that I got things to lose now. It's different. Before, I didn't have nothing to lose. You know, my family had, you know, my family had cut me loose. I was, ripping and running the streets. I had like people that took me in and made me part of their family. And I'm not talking about one or two. I'm talking about the community. It was so many people in the hood where, if I needed to go lay my head somewhere, I always had a spot. I always had a spot. There was people that knew me since I was a kid that no question, would let me in and let me, rest my head. But they gonna feed me and take care of whatever, that's the way it was back then. It ain't like that no more. You know what I mean? And I should be better at it. I should be better at it. But I don't even know my neighbors. And one of them I speak to and we good, the other one we're not. And that's because, when we first moved in, first thing, the guys, behind the car, the wife's car, taking out a license plate. The next day, the police are here trying to tow my car, tow my wife's car. So, yeah, I'm not gonna like you. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not gonna like you. Come on now, I just moved in, You just, coming over here taking license plates. The next day, the police coming? Nah, we ain't got nothing to talk about. But it is what it is. Like I say, this is the best I've ever been doing. This is the best life I've ever lived. You know why? Because I'm not looking over my shoulder. Why? Because God got my back. Who I gotta worry about? Man, like I say, every day I'm blessed by the best and praying for the rest. I can't speak for nobody else, but this is what works for Joe. And I'm not perfect. I'm not, I'm not the best person, but I'm working on it. And every day, my goal is just to be better than I was yesterday. And the person you guys are seeing right now, I believe this is the best version of Joey that there's ever been. And now a lot of people know, I just went, I saw, I saw a lot of family in my community, I went to a funeral, I lost one of my brothers. But, at the funeral, people were tapping in, it's like, was that you? And I'm like, yeah, and it was, wow, and, there's a little change, because when I was a kid, I was White Boy Joey. And White Boy Joey, he just wanted to be a part of something. He was a kid who had it kind of rough. He had some, he had some hurdles to overcome at a young age. He had a difficult family issues, because, of addiction and alcohol was a demon, and it destroyed my parts of my family. My father was alcoholic, and it made it hard on a lot of the family, but he did the best he could with what he was working with. I don't blame him for nothing, because he did the best he could with what he was working with. As a kid, I used to blame my parents for this and that, but they did the best they could with what they was working with. It's up to me to take it to the next level, because I believe that's what all good parents want their kids to do better than they're doing, to level up. I believe everybody wants that. And I know, I got two girls, and I was hard. I'm not sorry. I was hard on them, and it was for a reason. It was because I've seen the worst part of the worst people. I've been in places where that's where they put them, and I want mine to know that life ain't always easy, life ain't always fun, life ain't always smiles. But when you in that situation, you deal with it and you get through it. But you know what I'm saying, don't stay there. You got to keep moving. I put myself in a lot of those situations by the paths that I chose. And these are lessons. I learned one thing. I used to, hear people talk about, oh, you took taking an L, you took an L, you took a loss, this and that. I don't take losses. I take lessons. I take an L, but I take a lesson. Because I'll take a lesson and I'll learn so that I don't have to repeat the mistake. Because something went wrong, which got me into the situation. And something has to be done to change it. For every action, there's a positive there's a reaction. Equal and positive reaction. So, I learned my lessons the hard way by examples, by, hey, and I'm a firm believer that like children, they need to learn from their examples. They need to learn from their mistakes. When they make a mistake, they need to learn from it. Don't just pick them up and pat them on the butt, everything's okay. Nah, oh, do you see what you did? Okay. Now, if you do that again, that might happen again. So if you don't do that, then it won't happen again. This is a lesson. This is how we learn. It's like a little kid when they see fire. Oh, what do? Oh, but no, let them get close enough to feel the heat. Don't let them burn themselves, but let them get close enough to feel it. Oh, hot. Then they'll learn a lesson, and I bet you they won't put their hand in no fire. This is how you learn. Look, I was like I said, I was bad. When I was a kid, I was in everything. I was tearing stuff. And things was different back then. You could get into a whole lot more back then. So, all that has led me to where I am now. Today is 2025. It's December. It's almost 2026. This year went so fast. I'm blessed by the best, praying for the rest. Looking forward to the new year. Get a year older, get a little better looking, But, I don't know, how God gonna, be perfection. Just like, I can't help it. It's so fun. I used to be the biggest, the biggest smack talker. I'm cracking jokes, clowning, I'm trying to have fun. A lot of my life wasn't happy fun time. So when I can have fun, and like I say, I'm a big old kid. I don't want to grow up. I'm a toy. And I'm a big kid. I want to play. The best part of my day is getting to play with the grandbaby. And that's it. I'm Grandpa Joey. Look, I got to change the name now. But, I'm so blessed. And everything, keeps getting better. This is the longest I've been out since I was 9 years old. The day after Christmas will be 9 years. I've been out 9 years, the day after Christmas. And so far, I've knocked a bunch of things off my to-do list. I have several more. I'll never be able to do all the things on my list, but I'm a damn sure give them a good try. But that's the best part, I don't know what, the future holds, but I trust and believe that, the man upstairs kept me here for a reason. So I'm going to let him lead and guide, and I'm along for the ride. I'm happy to see y'all here, and I'm thankful you guys are along for the ride too. Thanks for tapping in. If you like what you heard, hit the subscribe, hit that like, hit that share. Share it to me, it doesn't matter. It shows up on the algorithm and it helps me channel. Thank you guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching.